Welcome to Law You Should Know. The law affects every aspect of our lives, our home, our jobs, and our recreational activities. Now you can learn about the law and how to protect yourself against the loss of your liberty or property. Learn how to stand up for your rights and seek compensation when you have been wronged. Your host for Law You Should Know is attorney Kenneth J. Landau with the Mineola law firm of Shane, Dox, Denisi, and Corker. He's a member of the Committee on Professional Ethics of the Bar Association of Nassau County and counsel to the Nassau Academy of Law. And now, here is your host for Law You Should Know, attorney Kenneth J. Landau.
Hi, this is Ken Landau, and welcome to Law You Should Know. Today we're going to be discussing a slightly different topic, returning to a legal career. And this applies both to lawyers or any professional or worker who's been out of the workplace for a while. Our special guest is Alexandra Duran, and she is a therapist, a human resources professional, an attorney. She's been a general counsel and a career coach and independent director. And Alexandra, welcome back to Law You Should Know.
Thank you, Ken.
What are some reasons that a lawyer or someone else might have an absence from work?
You know, some people think that when they hear absence, they think that it's some negative reason that someone has stepped off from work. But often that's not true. It can be a very positive reason. It can be to get married. It can be to have children that need, to have a baby. And it also means you can perhaps be taking care of a family member. It also can be that you've seconded to another company for a while to learn a new skill. There's so many different reasons that people can step off. You can go traveling. You could do a variety of different things, including returning to graduate school for an MBA or for another course of study. So it's not necessarily negative, and we shouldn't portray it that way when we speak to people about why we've stepped off our jobs.
And employers, too, should not look at it in a negative light for all those reasons you mentioned.
That's exactly right. But if you originally act as if it's a negative thing, then of course they will. Okay?
And someone may be returning to the workplace with a renewed energy, with a clean slate, well rested.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a very good thing. It's any time that you learn something more about yourself or take care of issues that have been stress points in your life, like having a parent that's not feeling well, and to finally have them be able to place them where someone's taking good care of them, you no longer have stress. You're much more effective in the workplace. Or
if you're just taking time off for any reason, you're coming back from a sabbatical, etc.
That's right. That's exactly right. So it's never a negative in my thinking.
And somewhere along the line, whether initially or at an interview, someone's going to have to explain it. So what can or should they say?
It depends on what the reason is, yeah? If it's a good reason, if it's a positive reason, if it's something that you've accomplished, a decision that you've made, you should just be very straightforward about it. On the other hand, you should always remember that lawyers and people in human resources, but mostly lawyers, always ask the illegal questions in interviews. That's my experience. And so, they think that they can kind of get away with it. And so you have to be prepared to kind of dodge the question or say, I didn't expect you to ask me that. Or give them an answer that isn't necessarily straight on point. If they're asking you, do you have minor children? You can say, there's absolutely nothing in my home life that will interfere with my working for you and bringing my full, inspirational energy to the workplace. Everything is fine.
So you certainly don't want to lie, but you might want to deflect their question and at the same time hint it may not be the most proper question to ask?
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes, though, it's just the right answer. It's good to tell them, okay? If you're looking around the office and you see that they've got pictures of all their children in there, you can say to them, I too have a young child, and I've really worked out a terrific plan for people to take care of my child when I'm at work.
And if it's because of something, let's say, more personal, like recovery from a physical or a mental illness, or let's say rehab, anything?
I wouldn't actually reveal that.
Do not reveal it.
Because the only time that things like that are relevant in the workplace, in a hiring situation, are if they keep you from doing the job. And if they are not material to you doing the job that they are interviewing you for, that definitely cannot be asked.
It also might open up the door to some kind of discrimination lawsuit if you're not hired.
Absolutely. So, I would dodge that question, absolutely. I would say, well, I took some time off. There were some personal things I had to take care of that related to family issues, and now everything is fine.
And do you even have to say personal things? Just say you had to take time off to take care of a few matters?
It can be business.
Okay.
And that's a great thing to say. That's what I mean by there's no one answer that suits all here. It depends on who's interviewing you, what kind of a job it is, and also what you're comfortable sharing, as well as whether it's relative and material to the job.
And for some people out there, they may have, they might be a little older and returning to the workplace. How should people deal with issues, even if they're not unspoken, concerning age?
Well, it's interesting that you asked that, because when I was looking to start actually in a practicing law, I was 43 years old when I was graduating. It was my third career, and I went to a bunch of interviews that were done. Students would come, or associates would come from the law firms to our law school, and they would interview you. And there was one young man that he kept saying things like, I'm wondering if you're going to feel that you can, keep up with the pace, which clearly is a euphemism for I'm too old, right? Meanwhile, what was interesting is at the time I had a full-time job that was just as difficult and more physically demanding than working in a law firm. I was going to law school 4 nights a week, and I was on law review. So how could it be more physically and intellectually demanding than that which I have been doing for 4 years? But I understood that he was telling me, you're not really welcome at this firm. Your age will be a factor. And so I just said to him, thank you very much for your frankness. Because I knew that I didn't want to work someplace where they didn't want me, or where they wouldn't appreciate all of the good judgment that I would be bringing from all of my experience that I would bring to the workplace. Including
life experience,
everything.
or legal experience, or business experience, or anything else.
Instead, what I did was I thought, well, I guess I have to find places to work where they will appreciate what I have to offer. And so I used to, they weren't very helpful to the night students at my school. So I would go in at night, the guard would let me in, and I would go through all of the law firm information. And what I was doing was I was looking for law firms that had older associates, people that were in their second careers when they started working in the law. And I found LaBeouf Lamb. That's exactly how I found LaBeouf Lamb. And they were mostly people that had worked in insurance, and LaBeouf specialized in B2B insurance. And I thought that was a great idea. I had done insurance also for CUNY, where I was working. And so I applied, and I got hired because they saw the value in me, that I had experience that was right on point, that I was an older person with good judgment, and that they could immediately put me in touch in front of clients.
And I guess these days also, another positive is that you're not likely to jump around.
That's exactly right.
I mean,
the people that were there stayed there. The people that were in their second careers, they loved what they were doing, and they stayed there. So, yes, I wasn't going to jump around.
Anything else, any other positive factors you can mention in terms of the older worker that people should think about saying if it's true, and employers should reconsider their attitude if they have one?
Well, I think the most important thing to remember is that you don't want to work someplace where you're not going to have joy, meaning, and purpose at that job. So if you're not a good fit for that job, and especially including age or interest, but age, then don't think of it as being rejected by them. Neither of you would enjoy the work. They wouldn't enjoy you, and you won't enjoy them because they're already starting out biased. Instead, what you really want to do is look for people who are more like you, that are more like your tribe, that they're older, that they're educated in different things, that they've traveled, that they've done a variety of different things, so that they understand that it's possible to have a variety of interests in your life and then focus your attention on one thing and do it well. That these things are not inhibiting you. They are, in fact, terrific benefits to you.
And also, it may be a charity that you have in common with them. It may be being a parent or grandparent or something else.
That's right, all those things.
And so you should try to introduce yourself to someone at that firm who may have that commonality with you.
Yes, and to also make it clear in your interview that you are a three-dimensional person, that it's not just the law that you have an interest in, but also that you have a tremendously fulfilled life. Yeah?
And you also may have a network.
Yes. You have a network, you have clients that you could bring in, people that remember you remember them, you've kept up. And the other thing that you have to do, no matter whether you're 28 or 58, is that you must update yourself on the law. You have to be current. You cannot come across as someone who is afraid of technology. You have to know technology, the use of it in the practice of law. You have to know the section of law, the type of law that you want to practice. You have to go back and take CLEs and really become quite studied in current treatises and CLEs and articles, blogs, in the thing that you want to practice, so that you're not seen as someone that they're doing a favor to, but that you, in fact, are ahead of the curve.
And you also can network at those CLE programs or approach a speaker if it's appropriate and find out where the jobs might be and where you might encounter less discrimination. That's
exactly right. And that's why I don't recommend that people do online CLEs, excuse me, because you don't get to meet anybody. They don't get to see you, and they don't get to see how you carry yourself.
So when you're going to an in-person CLE, it's much more than going to the CLE.
It's exceptionally valuable. Okay. You can make friends there. You can suss out who the speaker is. You can speak with them, get their card, ask if you can buy them a cup of coffee. You can hear the lexicon that people, in the way that they ask the questions. What's seen appropriate? What's difficult?
And you could ask an interesting question that might, give you some favorable attention. Yes. But everyone there, everyone on the panel, and everyone in the audience is a potential lead.
That's exactly right.
And even the people at the check-in.
That's exactly
who are doing
right.
the check-in.
That's exactly right.
On that note, we're going to take a very short break, and then we're going to continue our discussion of returning to a legal or other career. And our guest is Alexandra Duran, and we'll mention her website with some helpful information and some of her background when we come back. You're listening to Law You Should Know here on 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College, also over the internet at ncc.edu/WHPC. We'll be back in a moment.
This portion of programming on WHPC is brought to you on behalf of the Nassau County Bar Association, helping both the public and lawyers since 1899. They are the largest suburban bar association in the country. The Nassau County Bar Association offers clinics where you can meet privately with an attorney to prevent or solve legal problems involving Hurricane Sandy, foreclosure, wills, or elder law. Speakers on almost any legal topic are also available to schools or community groups. They can also help lawyers advance their legal careers and offer a place to network. Learn more about the Nassau County Bar Association by calling 516-747-4070 or visit nassaubar.org.
Once again, we continue with Law You Should Know. From the Mineola Law Firm of Shane, Dox, Denise, Corker, and Sauer, here is attorney Kenneth J. Landau.
Hi, this is Ken Landau, and welcome back to Law You Should Know. We're talking to Alexandra Duran about returning to a legal career, and whatever her advice applies equally to a business or other career. And she is a therapist, a human resources professional, an attorney, a general counsel, a career coach, and also an individual director. And she's helped many people return to a legal career. And Alexandra, just before we go into other issues, what is your website where you have additional information on all of these topics?
My website is alexandraduran.com, and there are many articles that are very